Have you ever caught up with a friend while they're overseas? Well, if you have, then you're in good company. Today we'll be taking a closer look at the nuances of everyday interactions that make up the monotony of life. Let's peel a banana and get stringy little bits of yellow absolutely everywhere. Grab your knitting needles and a blanket because it's time for three old friends to sit around and sew a new patch to their quilt of friendship. So join me, Josh, under the covers with Christian.
Welcome to Patchwork.
And from Japan, Dion.
Welcome to Patchwork.
Yes, you heard correctly. We are tuned in with Dion live in... Where are you from? Where are you calling in from, Dion?
Fukuoka, Josh, which you like to make fun of. I don't know why. Could be the spelling, could be the name, could just be because it's Japanese.
Christian got me when I was writing the graphic for the screen, Christian got me very good. And I didn't pick it, but he said it's Fukoff.
Aren't we a barrel of laughs?
You want to keep that a secret, did you?
It's a laugh a minute.
It is a laugh a minute. Now, to let you guys know what's happening, this is very unprepared, unplanned. We've got a little bit of time with Dion. We thought, what better time to spend with your friends than recording a podcast? So, don't have a lot of notes. We're just going to jump around a bit.
We actually haven't caught up with Dion yet. We're hoping to do most of the catch up on this call.
No, it's strange. Like when the three of us, first of all, hello listeners. When the three of us usually meet at Christian's mum's house, we do a couple of little hellos, but it's not a big sort of greeting. And it was like, I haven't talked to you guys live for 2 months, and we got on this call, and it was very much like, oh yeah, Dion's there. Didn't just ask me like an hour into it where I was.
I guess it's been 2 months already. Jeez.
Yeah.
How does that make you feel?
It makes me but it's.
What does it make you realize?
It's the thing of familiarity. It's the thing of familiarity, though. It's like you just slot back in as if you'd never been gone.
No, but it's worse nowadays because social media makes you feel like you're like if 10 years ago, if someone went away for 2 months, you'd be like, fuck, that's a long time. I missed you. You know, you didn't get to talk to them now.
Hey,
you just follow along.
Where's my postcard?
Yeah, shit. I haven't sent any postcards to anyone, but I have gotten in the habit, Christian, you were away for a long time. I've gotten in the habit of I've sent 2 big packages back to Australia.
What?
One was like the first package, which was like just clothes that I should never have taken along, and bricks as well. And the second package I sent today, which was like a bunch of presents for people, because I'm not going to lug them around for ages.
What was the item? Well, what did you send the most of home?
Bubble wrap.
Did you pack something
Cold
in particular that you were like, I can't believe I bought so much of this?
I think t-shirts are the big one. So Christian, you actually gave me the best advice before I left, which was get clothes that are really good material. And I bought
What sage, unique advice. Get really good quality things.
If he'd asked you, you'd be like, wear the stuff you wore 7 years ago.
The best decision I made was buying 2 Kathmandu, and I fucking hate Kathmandu. Talk about that in like patch 12 about how inflated their prices are. But 2 merino wool t-shirts that were like $70 each in Melbourne. They are so good. You never have to wash. I don't know how merino is. We need a whole. If this episode spins off to an whole episode about sheep and merino wool, it deserves it.
Because I guess you don't really
unbelievable.
wash your sheep, do you? They just carry on till you're ready to shave.
Oh my God.
Is that right?
No, but it's true.
Do people wash their sheep?
I'm not getting into
Do we
shearing
wash their
sheep
cows?
content.
I'm not asking about shearing them. I'm asking about
All
washing
Dion's
them.
asking is, if you ran into a merino sheep in the wild, would it stink? And the answer is no.
Imagine what's a polyester animal?
Yeah, what if you
ran
ran into a sheep with technical fibers?
But like it's being overseas is incredible, Christian. You know it. You were overseas for an extended period of time. It's great. But yeah, as you were saying, like the 2 t-shirts that I just rotate on a daily basis, they're amazing. So answer your question, it was t-shirts. Just accumulating t-shirts. Why do we love t-shirts so much?
Because they're easy and simple.
Yeah. I always get caught in the loop of I'm attracted to like a semi-novelty t-shirt.
Yes.
And then after like a year, I'm like, oh, what an idiot. I don't want to wear that. I don't want to
do you do
represent
with it?
that idea. It sits
What
in
do you
my
do with it?
Represent that idea.
it-
All those
it's-
Trump shirts you've got. You're like,
Yeah.
ah, damn it.
MAGA. I never understood what that meant. They sit in my cupboard for, I don't know, 5 to 6 years, and then eventually someone will tell me that I need to let go of it.
But aren't they a memory of where you bought them? That's my biggest thing with t-shirts overseas. They're a memory of the place you got it.
yes, but then you just have this ever growing cupboard.
Yes, I do.
Yeah. And what Dion's saying is, if you just put them in a box and send them overseas, they disappear.
Maybe that's the key. When we're at home, we need to have that travel mentality.
Oh my God.
Box it up, ship it off overseas.
Let's just send them to Japan.
somewhere send it to Japan. It's like having a pen. Get a pen pal. Get a pen pal.
It's the go-to souvenir. Like you go to any souvenir shop. I went to a volcano. I climbed an active volcano.
Is that a souvenir shop?
At the souvenir shop at the top. They just make, you know, the name of the mountain, and it's all t-shirts. I think souvenir shops are obsessed with t-shirts. It's the number one t-shirt.
Well, you know why?
It's the number one.
But you know why? It's because as a memento, it's functional. If you bought a little miniature active volcano that spurted a little bit of smoke, that's cool, but that sits on your shelf. It's not functional. The t-shirt is functional.
Do you know what I did buy? Something that was really cool and functional was at this volcano and in northern Japan, there's a huge bear, black or brown bear? Black or brown? I'm not sure. I couldn't tell.
Depends if it's an active volcano.
It's a huge active volcano bear population, and they recommend that you wear a bell on your person,
like
or
a cowbell
on your bag. So yeah, bought a little bell.
Did you actually?
And yeah, I did.
Souvenir bell?
Yeah, souvenir bell, but it was a functional bell. It actually it did the job. I didn't run into any bears.
Is it shaped like a volcano?
The bell?
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit.
Tell me, Dion.
Great. That's a good souvenir.
What happens?
Don't jump over that.
No, he's saying it's
the bell is like a volcano.
He's saying it's a functional thing. Where's that bell going when you get back to Melbourne? Bottom of a pit? The zoo?
I've got no idea.
It's not functional.
Bottom of a pit.
No, but it's one of those things, Josh. It is functional in the sense that you put it on a bookshelf, someone points that out, you got the next hour.
No, Dion, when was the last time you went over to someone's house and you looked at their little ornaments and you said, tell me the story behind this one?
Why aren't we doing that more? That's a great point.
Because no one cares.
No, that's not true.
I guarantee you, if I go over to your place and you've got your stuff out, I'm not looking and going, oh, tell me the story behind that one there. That looks really nice.
No, I think we should care more about what people have around. Like, Josh, if someone walked into your room, you've got some cool stuff in your room. You like people commenting on it. That's almost why you put stuff up.
Well, it's for my own personal reasons, but also it is quite nice when we've had parties and my room's been a bit of a hangout space, and I'll come in, someone goes, "What? Tell me about this. What is this thing here?" Someone's actually done it. I'm like, "It's great. Have a great old chat." Then 20 minutes goes by. He's like, "I gotta go back to the party."
Yeah, I gotta get out of here.
This conversation
also,
sucks.
Christian, it's different for you, Christian, because you go over to your place and there's 50,000 fucking plants. And what are people going to ask about the species of them? No one cares, mate.
But that's what I'm saying. It's not for anyone else. It shouldn't be for anyone else. Your bell sucks.
But I think Dion's thing is quite nice in terms of that's a nice thing to do, to take an interest in something that one of your friends has, Christian.
Yeah, it would be nice if it was honest.
Or you think it's all smoke, blowing smoke up the volcano?
I just don't think you're going over to each other's places, having a look around and being like, now tell me about this one.
You're not. That's never happening.
Nah, because if it's got a cool story, you'll already tell us. Like the story you're about to tell us.
The story I'm about to tell you is that I'm currently staying in it's a hostel, but it's a capsule hostel.
Sick.
This is a really weird one. We'll post a photo on social media, but it's essentially just like, it's like a little garage, and you walk in and the bed is there, and that's it. The bed takes up the whole width of the capsule. Your bag goes underneath the bed. It's quite cool though, because the everything is controlled by a little iPod, an iPod Touch, which I haven't seen in 40 years. Yeah, lighting. What else? The bed going up and down.
It's like being at Mona.
But this room is like it's like a working where people can go do some work, hired it for like 4 hours, $20. But there's if you can hear it, you
4
might be able to hear
hours.
the dull
Work.
murmur. Thank you. Yeah, that's right. The dull. Do you mean wanking, Josh? The dull murmur. The dull murmur of a choir. There's a choir. So I'm in room 422, and in 421 there's a fucking choir going absolutely nuts.
Great.
And they're probably saying to each other, "There's a fucking podcast next to it."
Are they rehearsing or is it a performance?
I think they must be rehearsing, but there was like a TV crew downstairs as well, so they must be rehearsing for some weird.
Great.
I don't know.
God, imagine if we cut to the choir.
Oh, that was the fourth shot.
Oh.
That would be good. That'd be impressive. What's been one of the highlights so far, Dion, of the trip, or where you are now?
There have been so many highlights. I think that because Japan is such a cheap country for Australians to visit at the moment because of the yen, I'm eating so much food. And like, I don't know how interesting that sounds, but it's the most extraordinary amount of food I've ever eaten in my life every single day.
Because I found when I was away, it's like eating becomes an event. Like eating's not an event here for me.
It's the best part of the day. It's what you build your day around.
Exactly. And then you get excited about where am I going to go? Where are we going to eat?
Yeah.
What am I going to have? It is so much more exciting when you're overseas.
And then it's Japanese food, which I happen to think is the best food in the world. And then it's cheap. It's just amazing.
Yeah.
Like, it's so much fun. So anyway, the food's incredible, but I think the main thing that I alluded to before, climbing that active volcano with a very, very significant bear population was amazing.
And everyone's bells ringing incessantly the whole time.
And you've been fattened up by the Japanese as well.
Well, actually, my friend...
With raw salmon.
Yes, eat more, keep going.
My friend that I was
the bell keeps them away.
I thought I read something that the bell like attracts the best. No. Repels.
Yeah, a whole salmon for you.
The girl that I was climbing with, my friend that I was climbing with, she's Russian, and she's used to bears as well. So I had the bell that was on my bag, and she was saying, just take off the fucking bell. It doesn't do anything.
Can I ask, how can you be used to a predatory animal?
Just sees them a lot.
Sees them a lot.
But also they behave, in the last couple of years, the bears here are behaving a heap different to how they have in the past. They're way more aggressive, and it's a combination of deforestation, climate change.
Great.
But also, there's people, this is really interesting, there's people that are moving out of farms, like out of farmland, because it's replaced by automation. So no longer are bears are now infiltrating farms and getting closer to people's houses and the city. So it means that last year, in the last 12 months, there were 20,000 bear sightings, but there were 220 bear attacks and 6 people killed or something. Like, it's like they're really significant numbers. But yeah, it's amazing. I think that's one of the other cool things. Like, I've met people from, as you know, from traveling, from Russia, from Turkmenistan, from Korea, from all over the world. And that's a really cool side of traveling. You just get to learn this girl just lives with bears.
Yeah, great bear facts. Yeah, I think there's been, interesting that you said that, there hadn't been a black bear attack in California. I think it was at Yosemite or something for 100 years, 80 years, something like that. And there was one in the last year. And it must be that bears they're evolving.
They're getting smart. I've seen them driving cars.
Yeah. You're right. In farms.
Yeah, doing the farm work.
Work in the fields.
The humans are going, they're like, I could do some rice farming.
Yeah.
They know what they're doing.
The other thing that I love, I don't know if you guys love this, I've always been a lover of, when you stay in a place, the breakfast buffet as well. But it's been quite interesting because I feel like every breakfast buffet is the same experience. It's packed full of assholes. They're just everyone. It doesn't matter how many people at the breakfast buffet, they work for NGOs or they're like, or the other not-for-profits or whatever. When you enter a breakfast buffet, it's a pack of assholes.
So
I think
let me get a sense, Dan, how much food was on offer? Because I've been to a variety of breakfast. Sometimes there's like what seems like an endless amount of different things. It's like you got some hot stuff, you got some fruit stuff, you got some pastry stuff. Like you got everything. How significant was the spread?
Can we start with the shape of the buffet? Is this a typical U-shaped buffet?
It is a U-shaped buffet. I think that's the standard. There's some in Japan. There's some weird decisions that are made. So like if I think one of the things is that if I go to Japan, I don't really want Western food, and yet they try and do Western food. But one of my favorite things at a breakfast buffet is a sausage, and the sausage
Typically Japanese sausage, yeah.
Yeah, but the sausages they have here, I don't understand like why they're so small. Like they're absolutely. Oh, thank you so much.
Must be genetic, I don't know.
Yeah, you should see the sausages in Italy.
Oh God, that's great. Oh Jesus Christ. Actually, I'll rephrase that. I do understand why they're so small. But they try and do Western food here, and they just don't quite get it right. You
Like
know,
bacon and eggs or something,
really
or
runny scrambled eggs.
yeah, right.
And I think that part of the reason that people are arseholes at buffets, one of the reasons is that I think people are perplexed with some of the food decisions that are made.
No, it's because they try to cater to everyone. That's the thing. They want that Western option for like the kid who's really annoying. It's like, oh, I just want something
hang on.
plain.
Are you both arguing that you don't enjoy a continental breakfast at a hotel?
No. I'm suggesting that Dan's saying everyone's an asshole, and I was like, no, they just have to have a bit for everyone so everyone can get their thing.
There's a weird tolerance to breakfast buffets. Like the hot food is never hot. It's never hot. And some of these breakfast buffets have got these amazing like contraptions where you've got like all like scrambled eggs in this heated contraption, and they just leave the lids open.
Yeah.
Like, lids.
Yeah.
Why are you keeping the lids open?
Here's a question for you, Dion.
Japanese.
Actually, here's a question for you, Christian.
Sure.
What is your favorite station at the breakfast buffet?
Are you including a breakfast buffet that
It's everything.
also... Okay. I think
You've been to a breakfast buffet and you had that's my favorite station.
I used to love the omelette, the chef that made the omelettes.
Yep. That's the best one.
Because the choices are always the same,
And they're doing it live.
but they're doing it live. And you can and you have the power to say what goes in your omelette.
It's great.
And everyone gets the same. They get capsicum, onion, a bit of cheese, omelette. End of
Great.
omelette.
It's great. End of omelette.
But what an exciting moment.
There's something about it. It's like I don't know what it is. It's the way everything's all perfectly proportioned out already in the little.
Yeah.
It's already cut up. They're not doing that fresh. It's like we just get a bit of that, bit of that.
No, it's that, but it's also the fact that I had this realization the other day that they've paid someone just to do omelettes. Like they've just got the omelette,
Yeah.
and I don't know, is that a chef or is that just like?
That's
do they
a
need to
chef.
pay that
That's a chef.
wage?
Yeah.
What? Why do you need to pay a chef to make an omelette?
Well, they have to make a lot of omelettes, and they have to make them the same.
They also have to prep the entire breakfast buffet, Dion.
And also, I have recently been watching GoPro footage of chefs working in busy kitchens.
Really?
It's really cool to watch on YouTube. And
Nuts.
I watched the breakfast, the buffet. So the guy making the omelets.
Really?
Yeah. So I watched for like an hour straight before I go to
Jesus
bed.
Christ.
And it's very therapeutic.
prep for
It's
the episode,
nice.
was it?
Yeah. It's very nice. But they're busy. What I was going to say is they make omelets, but while they're making their omelets, they're off and they're serving out some sausages, putting on some hash browns, charging for some coffee.
Who would have thought a chef would be busy during the breakfast buffet?
Do you reckon those chefs? Do you reckon they like the food that they're making? Do you reckon the breakfast buffet chef is a proud chef? Do you reckon the husband or wife of the chef is going? He's a chef.
You may as well ask that of any job though, right?
Yeah, that's job sat. That at its heart, that's job satisfaction.
And to be honest, I would probably, because when I was a barista, I got more enjoyment out of that job than I do any other job I've ever worked, and that was highly repetitive. But the enjoyment I got out of making a lovely coffee every time and serving that to someone, I was like, this is the best life.
What?
It was fantastic.
No.
Do you mean in terms of you're giving someone something nice and it's
It's about the process. It's
and
about
getting perfection and all that stuff.
Like there's every little detail that you're completing as you go, and then at the end of it, you're producing this beautiful thing, this like little piece of art that someone gets to enjoy. And sometimes they say to you, "Oh, that's perfect, thank you," and you go, "Great,
nailed it."
That's it. That's all I need to hear in my day.
You know what it might be? It might be because in a microcosm, you're constantly getting things resolved. Every single customer that comes through is a complete cycle of payment, creation, delivery.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Out the
I
door.
love that.
They're each mini projects.
Yeah, rather than waiting 3 months for that moment where someone goes, yeah, thanks, that was really great. Bye.
But it never comes.
No, it doesn't.
It never
Josh, do you get
comes.
satisfaction out of that sort of job as well? Little micro project job. Job.
I really like jobs that build to something and have a conclusion, very defined conclusion. So I'm really excited to be doing a lot of election work. There's local government elections coming up. So I'm heavily involved in that. That's very exciting because you're building to this day and this singular moment that is the election
When
day.
Trump gets elected.
Yeah, no. And then, so the local government, and there's a big process to it. I love a process.
That's a
so
good
it's all
point.
process driven, and we're building to this point, and then you have it, and then you pack down everything, and it all disappears, and everyone scurries away.
It's the same as the comedy festival. It's the
Yeah,
same
it
as
is.
any of your. Yeah.
I do.
Christian, got a quick question for you about Josh.
Sure.
Why does Josh love a process, as he would say?
Because Josh is rule oriented. It gives him a structure to live by.
Yes.
So
I like the walls.
you can't tell Josh he's done something wrong if he's followed the process.
Please box me in. Yeah, I don't know what it is. I do like.
No, you do know what it is.
I do.
You don't, because you don't want to be told that you've done something wrong, and you just want to be told explicitly, here's how to do this thing, and you'll go, if you've told me how to do it, I'll do it exactly that way.
Yeah, that's great. Then the fault is not on me.
Exactly
I
right.
can pass it on to other people.
Yep.
Can I tell you about something else? Just quickly. I just had an experience before. I was just thinking when you asked me like what are the most enjoyable parts of the holiday. Meeting people as a solo single travel. Meeting people is tough nowadays. And there's a bunch of different ways you can meet people. But I just try and strike up conversations with anyone and anywhere and see what happens. But I was downstairs. There's this happy hour. But just before I went downstairs, there was this girl that was opposite me that was going down, that I knew was going downstairs. I was like, oh, do you know, there's happy hour. There's like there's free beers. And she was like, yeah. So we started chatting, went downstairs. I ordered my beer. We sort of had a little chit chat where we'd been. I ordered my beer and she said to me, it was nice meeting you. And then she sort of went to another part of the communal area and just sat on her own on her phone. I was like, and I thought to myself, it was funny because I like to talk to people. I like to make people comfortable when I talk to them. It was a normal conversation, but she was from South Korea. She preferred to be on her own, scrolling through her phone, than chat to a traveler from another country.
So I think that's anxiety. And what I would like to ask to Josh, if you could do for Dion right now, what's the perfect line, or what's a safe line that he could say to this person when approaching them with his own beer to say, can I? What is it?
As in
to say, the outcome is that they're having a drink together in a safe way and getting to know each other.
So you're suggesting? I think that this person is just wanted to not talk to anyone, and it's just like,
I think so.
I just want to hang out by myself. But I'm in a hostel. I don't begrudge anyone for
you
trying to
think
strike
so?
up a conversation. I don't think they judge Dion when
haven't
I've
had
had enough of
experience.
this.
No, I think my perspective is, I think a part of it could be anxiety driven, where it's like, okay, I've taken up enough of your time.
Oh.
I'm going to go sit by myself now.
No, surely that's not the response. You're in a hostel. You're like, hostel living is a different breed. Everyone's super social. Everyone's there to meet people, right? But if you don't want to meet people, you can be there, shut away, and go and do your own thing.
Also mixed dorm, and she's in the mixed dorm area, not the
Okay.
female only dorms. It's not like, and if I was a female, I'd stay in female only dorms all the time. Guys fucking stink. But so she's not.
Well,
there to get
maybe
one.
you could say something like, hey, do you mind if I sit and have a drink with you? Totally fine if you just want some space for yourself.
Yeah, that's a nice way of get. But I haven't had that experience. People have been really, really lovely, but it's more that phones are an interesting part of travel now. Like you go into a communal area 15 years ago into a hostel.
Yeah, that's
people
true.
they're either reading a book or their heads are up or they're open to meeting people. Now people have the whole world in their pocket.
And all their friends that they're messaging. I'm overseas.
Yeah, there's really
I'm
no
doing the same.
separation.
Nah, it's too easy now. It's
And
too easy.
I've never kept in contact as much as I have with friends on this trip compared to others ever. I've kept in so much more contact with friends, and that's because it's been harder meeting. I think it's like long-term travelers. Like I've met people and I've traveled with people for a couple of days and it's been lovely. But people who are traveling like for a couple of weeks and then you kind of meet and you go, where are you going next? And they're like, oh yeah, should I come along? And they're like, yeah.
Well, that's the cool thing about this trip.
harder.
This is very open-ended. So you have that freedom to just, if you get on with someone, to be like, yeah, what's your next move? Let's go check out this city.
But Dion's saying that he can't find those people.
Well, I'm traveling with someone tomorrow for 5 days, hiring a car in southern Japan, and that'll be really, really nice.
Right.
We get on really, really well. But then she's going to Argentina on the 22nd of July, and it's kind of like, oh, okay. So I think that hopefully by the next recording, I will have found a long-term travel partner or just even a partner.
But is that what you're interested in? Isn't that the joy that you have these people and these moments for a few days and you have these great times, but you want to travel with someone for a few weeks or something? That seems odd to me.
Yeah, no, it's an interesting point. Traveling solo is amazing, but I think that I would travel with someone longer term if they were amazing. Like if they were awesome, like how could you refuse?
Well, you just want,
someone who
and it's like similar interests. You'd want to do the same kind of things. It makes complete sense. Because the thing I find is like, if you can find that person when you see those weird, silly little things, and you just want to give them a nudge and go, that's pretty funny.
Yeah.
But you don't. It's not worth a message or a photo. It's nice to have that person around when you travel.
Well, yeah, but that person has to be like-minded. And the risk is that after 2 days you go, I've committed to the next week and a half with this person and they're rubbish.
Do you reckon you...
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. What is it? What's the point, do you think, if you're with someone traveling? Are there like classic things that someone might do, or there's some moment that tips their hand? You go, I thought you were good, and now I think you're rubbish.
Yes. I can speak from experience. When I was in South Korea, I went away with this girl for 3 days. She was really lovely at first. We went to this island together. She was really, really lovely. And then she just got super annoying. She's just really, really annoying. And the main thing she did was she nitpicked my behavior.
Great.
And I'm like, in what world, like 8 hours into knowing me, are you like, there was just so many little things. I was like,
can you give us one example, please?
It was because, so I was driving on the other side of the road in Korea. This is
I love that.
So
putting her life in danger.
Nitpicking. Can you just hit the brakes a bit and drive on the right side of the road? No, it's okay. Nitpicker.
You suck.
I think there's a way of telling someone they're too close to the right-hand side.
Great. Interesting.
So it was the kind of like, do you know how close you are on that left side? That kind of thing.
That bit was actually okay. It was more just little comments about like, oh, sorry, Dion, I thought you wanted to do this, and now you're saying something different now. And it's kind of like, yeah, just people change their minds.
Do you reckon?
It's okay.
But do you reckon that's like a cultural thing? That like Koreans are like, if you say some plans, you are locked into those plans. So she was almost confused that someone would change their plans.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point. And like, as an example, in Japan, people just don't get angry. There's no public anger at all. It's completely frowned upon to get angry at anyone. So if you,
I don't know if they frown about it.
What would happen.
Oh, that's good.
Little zinger boy, aren't you?
Yeah. Okay. That's great. Isn't it weird? There's some of those things you see when you go overseas that you kind of completely forget, or you don't realize they're a thing or the absence of a thing until you see the other side of it. So you're like, wow, no one's angry in public here. This is crazy. It's so strange.
The other thing that's super weird in Japan and in Korea as well, and I have so much trouble with this, and Christian, I reckon you'd really struggle. There is no hugging. People do not hug. Like, you meet someone for the first time, you don't have any contact with them, you say goodbye to them, you do not hug.
I'm okay with that.
Nah, I'm a bit, but what is the greeting?
It's a bow or it's hello. It's
great. I'm into this. Give me this.
I find a bow to be quite intimate as an experience with someone else. So I can understand the lack of intimacy of a hug, but a bow's pretty pleasant.
How many degrees down are you going? What's your bow angle?
I've never really considered it, but I do understand that a lower bow is...
So how, for a fresh meet?
You're just doing a bit of a... It's just a lovely to meet you.
If you're right,
so
it's almost like
a casual bow.
Okay,
casual bow.
casual
I
bow.
also don't think. I think when I was in Japan, I was very self-conscious about being too enthusiastic about my bow. Like, they'd call me out. They'd call me out and be like, "You're not from here, mate." Yeah, they'd nitpick. So I just a little gracious bow to say, I know it's not my culture, but I'm giving it a go.
Well, I was going to say, because is the bow one of those things where you like trying to speak in the language, right? You're trying to do the culturally natural, correct thing.
Yeah.
Is the bow the thing that do you get nervous doing it? You're like, oh, God, I feel a bit silly doing this. You're like, I should do this. This is where I am. Everyone does this. It's very normal.
I don't get nervous. I think speaking another language is way more nerve-wracking, giving it that kind of attempt. Dion, have you been trying to speak Japanese?
I love how this has slowly transitioned to Christian being in Japan, and the if you're on YouTube, the Fukuoka Japan being slowly moved down to Christian. Yeah, I've done a little bit of bowing. I haven't got it in. You kind of do it naturally here because it's just a completely different way that people interact with each other. But Josh, have you been to Japan? Remind me.
Yeah, like for 10 days to Tokyo.
Oh,
so it was a very short trip.
It is such a rules-based place. Like,
Get me there!
Everything has, like, the whole culture has, like, you just know what you do in all situations. I was at the baseball.
You work
last night,
8 days a week.
You've got these boys and girls that are running up and down selling drinks. Every time they get to the bottom of the stairs in the stadium, they bow. Everyone just knows people just know what to do here. There's so many instances of that.
Have you found, Dion,
sure.
there are times where you've been surprised by a bow? Like,
I'm always surprised.
do you err on the side of bow?
To bow or not to bow? Yeah, you're more likely to
Bow.
bow than not. You're going to roll the dice. If it's 50-50, you're going to bow rather than not bow.
Of course I'm going to bow. Why wouldn't I bow?
All right. Well, I don't know. Maybe you're like, what if this is an insensitive time to be bowing? What if someone's just lost a loved one and you're coming in bowing like a madman?
It's true.
I haven't had a bow nightmare.
If I've just served you your omelette from the buffet, are you bowing?
Arigatou gozaimasu.
Yeah.
Just a little bow.
Little bow.
Good.
Little bow. I like
But you
that.
know what?
That's good.
What you did then, Dion, that to me is the default travel thank you thing that you can't help but do. You kind of just some sort of thanking thing where you're nodding a bit and
you kind of like the Oliver Twist, hands in the air.
It's just so interesting of like, it's such a universal feeling that you're like, this is how I show appreciation. I kind of
It's
nod
submissive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But apparently in Japan, if you do put your hands together in a praying motion and you bow, apparently that's something you do at funerals, and it's really not something you're meant to do generally.
Oh, wow.
Dodged a bullet there.
Yeah.
That is lucky.
What I wanted to chat about, we were talking about this earlier about like just being a solo traveler and being able to do whatever you want to do. One thing I have loved, and I did this today, was my power bank died. And God, power banks are good. They're such great inventions.
How many?
But it died.
How big?
How many milliamp hours?
10,000.
10,000?
Small.
Tiny little one. Wow.
Yeah, tiny. Little, about 4 sausages. But there was that initial thing. It was like, fuck, it's died, and I was like, fuck, I get to buy a power bank in Japan. This is great. So went to this place. There's this place called BIC Camera, BIC Camera. It is the most incredible electronic store, and I can't, unless you go there or unless you see video footage of it, it's impossible to describe how big the range is. It's the most enormous thing ever. And they've got a whole aisle dedicated to lens cap protectors just for the iPhone 13 and 13 Pro.
Great. How many floors? How did they divide their floors?
They don't. It just keeps on going. It's thousands of floors. It's just standard computers and then phones, and then the white goods in Japan. My God, the white goods are good here.
Were you just going to department stores and just walking around to just see the stuff? Yeah, great.
It's really fun. It's really, really fun. It's just because, especially in somewhere like Japan, this is cutting edge shit. Like, you want to see like what robot vacuum cleaner is going to be like in Australia in 10 years' time?
Of course.
Go to a department store in Japan.
Is that still the case? Because I remember
it still is.
Yeah, in the 80s and 90s, it was that big kind of like, go to Japan and you'll see the future. But I thought that they'd...
Now they've just got like a TV you can roll up.
Doubles the yoga mat. Actually, there's one place that I went to today. I went for ramen in the morning, and
went for a ramen in the morning.
It was such a good experience. So you type in your ramen order into the vending machine. It spits out a ticket. Then you go into the restaurant, and there's all of these, we can post on socials, there's all these booths, and you just sit at a booth. Someone behind, like in front of the booth, opens up a little curtain.
Human or robot?
You don't see just person. You don't see their face, but they just talk to you.
You don't see their face?
Fill in, yeah.
I don't know.
You fill in a little form. So they've got your basic ramen order, but then you go, do you want extra salty? Do you want extra noodles? And then they give it to you. They close the curtain. You have your experience there, and in Japan, they know that sometimes you want to go for a meal and you want to fucking talk to anyone, but you want to have a really delicious meal.
It's a little ramen peep show.
Little ramen peep show.
Slide up over. What do you
right.
want? There you go. Thank you. Very good.
And I paid $2 for extra noodles.
But so do you find there's more stuff there for solo people? Because that to me, what you're describing there is very much like an individualistic thing, but you wouldn't see that here in Australia so much at all.
Yeah, much more than in Korea. I was in Korea for a month. Korea's a really hard place to travel around solo because I'd say 50% of restaurants, you'll turn up, you'll say you want one table, and they'll go, no, we only accept two. I don't really know why that is. I mean, if you do want to go to a restaurant and pay double, I think they want people paying.
You have to have two people.
Yeah.
That's wild.
So way more community-centric culture.
Yes. And so in Korea, one of the beautiful things about Korea is that you just got people hanging out with their friends fucking everywhere.
And food is such an enormous part of that culture as well.
It is. It's huge. It's all about family, food, and friends.
And Samsung.
Yeah.
Was there Samsung everywhere?
Samsung everywhere. So good. So fucking
Kia?
good. And God, they should be proud. We don't have a brand like that. We've just got Steve Irwin. We don't have Samsung.
We don't have Samsung.
We've got
Steve
Atlassian.
Irwin. What the hell are you talking about?
No, we don't have the brands they've got here in Japan are unbelievable. I was looking at one building the other day and it had like all the brands. It had like Mitsubishi, Daikin, which is an air conditioning thing. It had Sony, and I clocked and I was like, oh fuck, they're all Japanese.
Yeah, that's
amazing
a good point.
Japanese brands.
Yeah.
Well, because Samsung like does everything, don't they?
Yep.
Like in Korea, you can get like I can't think of a good example. But
Washing
like
machines,
everything.
like
no,
we just
like
spoke about.
weirder than that.
What do you mean? Samsung will make it.
Yeah, you must have seen.
Ramen?
What was the weirdest Samsung branded thing you saw, Dion?
Breast pump.
Thank you. That's what I mean.
Why is that
Everything.
weird? Josh,
Samsung.
think about our audience.
Maker of phone and TV, not breast pump.
What? No.
Oh, they did have they also Panasonic had a portable bidet as well.
Great, of course
And I
they
was
did.
So tempted.
Wait,
100
Panasonic.
bucks.
tempted.
Hang on, Panasonic making a portable bidet is weirder than Samsung making a breast pump.
It's a Lumix. It's a Lumix bidet.
Yeah.
The bidet's got a 10 times zoom. Does it really need that? I don't know. We've got the tech. Just chuck it in. We make everything. Roll it out. It's also translucent and rolls up.
You know what else it's got? It's got red bum reduction as well.
See, this cross-pollination of these giant companies, it's a good thing. It's like how Mitsubishi make like air conditioners and stuff. I thought Mitsubishi was just cars.
Is no one going to make the joke about Panasonic bidets having a flash as well in them?
Good.
No.
No, they're not. You also were near the border, weren't you, in Korea, Dion?
Yeah, the border of Panasonic and Sony.
Thank you.
No, it was the border. That was probably the equal coolest thing that I did was going to the demilitarized zone.
Can I just say my experience of watching that was I was at a house party when you sent that through, and I watched the footage without audio, and all I saw was the zoom in, and I saw like a kind of like a paramilitary trooper standing in a tower, and very quickly was like, oh my God, that's North Korea. And quickly huddled many people around him and was like, look,
Watch this.
North Korea.
Yeah. It was unbelievable. It's just such an interesting place. It's right on the border. It's like, I think it's like the demilitarized zone is like a 2-kilometer width thing. Like it's a strip of land. But the fact that you can just see into North Korea, but the fact that the South Koreans, they've built this massive structure, this really kind of like obvious silver structure that makes it really obvious to the North Koreans that they're being spied on. It's a pretty weird thing to do. Then again, it was a pretty weird thing for North Korea to be dropping bags of rubbish into South Korea while I was there as well.
What?
Big bags of rubbish of poo and like
My-
garbage.
My
and
understanding
very, very
of the
strange.
tower stuff was it went back and forth where one would build a tower that was the tallest and then the other side would build their tower just a bit higher than that and then they would build theirs a bit higher than that.
Yeah. So interestingly, from that viewpoint, there was a flagpole in North Korea, and I think it's the tallest flagpole in the world, and that's because the South Koreans and North Koreans just kept on increasing the size of the flagpole. It's just ridiculous. It's the number of male-dominated phallic structures that I've come across. I went to the baseball last night, and at one point, everyone's blowing up these big yellow sperms.
What?
And it's just like
to smack together to make noise.
No. It's to everyone's given like a pump.
You say they look like were they designed to look like
they look
sperms?
exactly like sperms, and then you release them all at the same time, and it
And then
impregnates the stadium. But it's the strangest thing. Like you
what the hell are they
see-
for?
Just decorate, like just a moment,
Like a fun
like
thing to
you-
blow
It's
up.
a fun thing to do, but you see it in Japanese and Korean culture. It's very, my understanding is very male dominated, and it's like, yeah, women are quite subordinate here. But it's just so. Do you notice those sorts of phallic structures in society where you're like, wow, I wonder where they got that idea, the thing that looks like a penis? Or
I think you could consider any building to be an erect structure. So
This was really weird. This looked just like a sperm. It was like a. Anyway, I've seen a sperm. I know what they look like.
One thing I wanted to touch on, Dan, which I found really interesting, is you've been posting a lot on Instagram, a lot of stories and posts and stuff. And to me, it has been probably the best use of social media I think I've ever experienced. Because it has been a lovely mix of you as a solo traveler explaining some things, talking us through it to be like, oh, this is this cool thing. Watch this. This is what happens here. You know, you're getting a little bit of the tidbit of the thing you read that explained it to you. And it's all felt very natural and organic, and you sharing your experience, not trying to impress other people. It's just been like, here's a bit of a chronicle if my friends wish to follow along. And I have been, and it's been awesome.
That's lovely. Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to impress anyone. It doesn't that's not why.
And I don't know if that feels different. What is your thoughts on that, Christian?
I've
As a
seen.
consumer.
I saw the series that you put up about the active volcano, and for me as well, it's just like I feel like you're trying to give a genuine insight into your experience, as opposed to I need to frame this to look like it's the best experience anyone's ever had.
Yeah.
So it doesn't appear as though you're trying to make people feel jealous. Rather, you're trying to bring people along on the trip to be like, hey, you might not ever see this really cool thing, so I'm going to try to let you see what I'm seeing.
Yeah. It's interesting. It's
Yeah.
so weird,
It's more inclusive than other travel bloggers where
Right.
it feels like if you think about postcards, it's just like Lauren Phillips being like, you'll never be here, but I am.
I guess, yeah, I don't know what it is because I've been trying to put my finger on it because it has felt so different to a lot of travel content that I see. And even to my own thing where you're just posting like, here's a beautiful picture that I took of a cool thing. Or here's me at a place.
I guess what we're really craving is real people having cool experiences, right? Because last night, again, a lot with this YouTube content, last night I was on the couch and I watched...
Good?
Yep. Didn't watch the whole thing, but it was 4.5 hours, and it was the 42-day trek that a guy went on to summit Everest.
Jesus.
It was him documenting the entire trek, and because I did a lot of hiking in South America, I wanted to see what the landscape was like, and I was so enamored by this very regular guy just talking through his very real experience, saying, this is a struggle. How cool is that thing? Like being impressed by something genuinely. So I think that's what Dion's offering is a genuine experience.
Yeah, so we just need to work out how to monetize that, and then we've got them.
Yeah.
The one thing that is interesting, I appreciate hearing all that. That's all lovely. The one thing that's weird is that I would be happy if that stuff was being shared with 20 people on Instagram.
I think that's the difference. I think it feels like you've posted it in the group chat. I think it feels
Yeah,
more like that, a bit more like it's just like it's what I would send to Josh if I said, "Hey Dion, what have you
Yeah.
been up to?" It's exactly what you would just send to me, rather than this big broadcast. It's like, "Here I am, I'm traveling. Watch
Yeah.
and marvel at my travels."
Who? What is it? Shooby doo.
I think that the other thing that you have to be very careful of when you're traveling as well is just accumulating content for Instagram or for like, and just taking photos. Like,
How is the
fact that
photography going? Have you taken 1,000 photos?
There'd be so many. There'd be so many.
Are you
But
just phone?
Yeah, just fun. Although I kind of like, I think I won't buy one, but it would be great having a good camera. Like, it would be great having a really good camera, because some of the photos, a lot of the photos,
Sure, you can just take the portable bidet with you.
Press a little camera button on that.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Oh, the rear-facing
Especially
camera is
rating it
really
like that.
powerful. I reckon we might leave it there. What do you reckon, Dion? You got anything else you want to touch on about your trips?
No, but if anyone has any suggestions of where I should go next, I'd love to hear about it, because I've been putting it off. I don't want to make a decision on where I end up going next.
Well, what's
So
the
if anyone has
scope?
any suggestions-
Let people. So where you've been around Southeast Asia a bit. You're in Japan right now. What's the scope of this trip?
Well, the scope of the trip, I think that Central Asia, I could go to Central Asia, could go to Uzbekistan, could go to Kazakhstan, I want to go to Korea, not Korea, I want to go to Japan.
Cheap's always a good, when you're doing a longer trip, cheap's always good. It helps sustain it, right?
Yeah, and that's the one thing I'm like, accommodation is the big thing. I'm not saving money on food at all, because I'm just not skimping on food, but accommodation is the big thing that I'm
Yeah. Taking a
like
hit
cost
on.
down in. But like, I'm thinking like Central Asia, or going over to Europe, going to Turkey, go to Montenegro, go to Albania, Georgia, all these places. I think that'd be great.
It's a good idea.
Great.
My suggestion is that you head towards China.
Middle of China.
No. You're close to Shanghai.
Go see that Great Wall.
Right now, where you are in Fukuoka, one of the closest major cities to you is Shanghai.
I don't have a big interest in going to China. I'd love to go to Mongolia.
No. I said
That-
Shanghai.
Why do you want me to scope out Shanghai for you? Check out the dumplings.
Yeah, I think it'd be interesting to see China, to be honest.
I think
well, then you go do that.
All right, well then go to Nepal.
Yeah, I do want to go to Nepal. Because I realize, we can end on this, I fucking love a mountain. I love a
Ooh.
gorgeous, high, huge mountain, but there's monsoon season at the moment. So, Christian, at the end of my trip, I reckon I'll go to Nepal.
get to those mountains.
Yep. The
Get up there,
the Annapurna Trail.
Strap on a GoPro. 42
You want to go to
days.
Nepal, Christian?
What?
You want to go to Nepal?
I can't hear you, Dion. Breaking up.
I'll see you there.
Thanks so much for listening, everybody. This is a very impromptu catch up. We talked about Dion's trip. We didn't really plan this too much.
It's literally a phone call with Dion.
It is. It kind of was. I hope you enjoyed it. Let us know. Let us know if this was dull and boring or fun and interesting. But yeah, thanks to Dion for dialing in while you're away.
Thank you.
What are you going to do
Thanks for
tonight, Dion?
It's 8:30 here. I'm going to go to bed. No, I might go out for some drinks on my own. No, I've got no idea. No, I've got a friend here I can go out for some drinks with. So yeah.
Great. And my patch is Dion with a bell around his neck running through a department store that had a lot of tech.
Mine is the special SD slot for the portable bidet. And Dion, your patch.
Mine is going to big camera in every single country and buying a power bank for every single Patreon.
Great.
All right.
Thanks so much, folks. We'll catch. We still got some guests coming up. So those will be coming out soon as we go. But yeah, thanks so much for listening to this episode. And we'll see you next time. Bye, Dion.
Sayonara.
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 That's how they say in Japan.